So welcome to everyone to tonight's Monday night webinar. I'm Shannon. I'm the operations manager for Best Choice. I've got Candace and Virginia here today, and they're going to be running the show a bit. They were able to pick the topic for tonight based off of some of the conversations we've been having with some of our agents. So turn the time over to Virginia and Candace for our topic of the hour.
So we wanted to, I think Candace and I and Shannon all felt like there's kind of either you're really moving fast right now or you're trying to figure out what the heck happened and who turned off the spigot. Like
Yeah.
you're almost thinking about calling the water company because you're like sure that somebody turned something off. And I think Candace and I can attest to the fact nothing got turned off. It just shifted. So we want to talk about what happens when you have a strike, what happens when you feel and how we can work around that. So Candace?
Yeah. So there's just, this is a great listing of one of our agents who basically he's been moving and grooving and not stopping at that kind of capacity place. This is one of his current active listings. He's got another one coming on. And I just know in situations, and I've been in this before, where it's like, everything's happening all at once. Or maybe you're sitting back and it's kind of like, gosh, I know as soon as I start and I jump into this or I do some prospecting activities, I'm going to be overwhelmed and it's going to be too much. So, this is a prime example of just take the listings, fall on the support of your peers, other agents. Um, this is an active listing. He has another active listing coming up, just closed on an existing listing and partnered with another agent. You know why? Because it's like, hey, I got a lot going on. I don't want to miss any opportunities, but I want to capture. So he brought another agent in to list the condo with him. Condo sold. They did a couple of open houses. The partner did the open house. Only two people came, and he had just said, you know what, that's great. In comparison to 20 people through the open house where you don't even have a time to just kind of sit down with one or two. But do you know those open houses and the amazing work that this tag team did resulted in another listing that is coming up in the next week or so in the same condo location. He's got this active listing and more to come. Actually expecting an offer on this one too that we discussed this morning. So just wanted to share an example of sometimes you just feel a little overwhelmed. And when there's nothing going on, sometimes it all happens at once.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fret, lean on the support of your peers,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And I
So,
think, next slide, Shannon, please. So is this you? I mean, I know that I asked Shannon, I asked Candace, I asked myself, and yes, this could be me. I go up, I go down, I go sideways, I go this. And, and then we start feeling this blah, especially when we start going down again. But blah isn't always burnout, and most agents aren't lazy. They're just stuck. I've been stuck, guys. I've been stuck multiple times in my career. And we want to give you the mindset and micro moves to get your fire back. And that's kind of where we're at. So blah isn't burnout, it's autopilot, disconnection from
yeah,
purpose and
yeah,
loss of energy. Um,
yeah,
so, some of you who've taken my Rainmaker classes, I know Franz has, one of the things I lean into a whole lot is the why. If your why, and I say this all the time, if your why isn't strong enough to get you out of bed on the bad days, you need to reevaluate what your why is. Because without your why, without a desire, it sucks. I would never want to carry a hammer and try to chip through this. And that's what we're doing with our real estate business is we're chipping through and trying to get the business and we're carrying these hammers and we're carrying what we do in our life and it's heavy. And then we just feel like quitting and sometimes we quit before we give ourselves opportunity to shine.
yeah. You got to keep doing the work, even when it doesn't feel like anything is happening. Keep doing the work, keep doing the prospecting, reconnect to your why. The small wins build energy. And so over time that just it progresses, right? So keep on doing the things that we have to do. It's so easy to get caught up in that next activity or that next listing and then fall away from, the prospecting that has to happen to keep it moving, right? And just be aware of it. I've got to every morning, I still have to reach out to 5 people. And I don't care how I do it. It might be through social media, connecting and engaging. It might be a pick up a phone call. It might be that quick short text. Hey, I've got some free time next week. Do you want to get together for coffee, lunch, or my morning routine as well, right? Just keep doing the activities that you know are going to bring results. And don't forget your why.
Yeah.
Don't forget your why.
Why do you think we don't do our activities, Candace? What do you think happens? And and I hear this a lot, I'm sure you do over on the main, I hear it a lot in the network, is what I'm doing isn't working.
Yeah, you don't see the results. We're immediate results driven people, right? I mean, it's just like I have a remote control in my hand. I want to turn this channel and I want to turn it now, right? And it's the same when it comes to, your real estate business. I want to do 2 open houses and I want to walk away with a ready to go buyer right now, right? And that's it can't stop at those 2 open houses. It
No.
has to build that consistency and we have to keep on doing it.
So Lucilia, she's one of our agents, and she committed to doing 2 open houses every weekend. And at first, I mean, I'd get her call. She's like, I'm not getting anybody. I'm not getting anybody. But since she's been committed to it, she's gotten 2 buyers. And we had a buyer's appointment together last week, which was fabulous. And I too was like, ugh, I hated open houses. This is just an example because everybody has a different lever. But I leaned into it and I did 231 open houses one year recently and got 21 deals out of it. Did I get a deal every weekend? If I had, it would have been 231 deals. It's easy for us to get discouraged because it's not easy. It's simple, it's just not easy. So motivation is a myth. Action creates momentum, and you just have to make one micro decision. If it's like Candace, who makes 5 connections every day, no matter what, that is a micro decision. I always play everything back to my health. There was a time where I was teetering on 300 pounds, and it was not easy to go back to the gym or go to the gym at all, by the way. It was not easy to stand on a scale. It was not easy to do any of that. It was actually quite frankly painful. Um, but and there was no reason, there was nothing for a long time that made me want to do it until one day I decided I needed to do it just for me, right? We think we have to have these grand ideas that we have to do this for this person and that person or this reason, but until you decide to do it for yourself, it's never going to work. And once I made that decision that I'm doing it for me, just me, it changed my mindset. And when you change your mindset, it's not motivation, guys. Motivation kind of is a myth, but wanting to do something for yourself, and I'll say it all the time, I get up every day to be a better version of where I was yesterday. And yeah, I'm not as thin as I want to be yet, but I'm sure not close to 300 pounds anymore. And I work out 6 days a week, and it's not easy. Some days I hurt a lot, but the pain has gotten me where I feel better about who I am. And that's just what motivation is, guys. Motivation, complete myth, but finding your why and doing something for yourself is truth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's don't wait for it, right? Don't
mm-mm.
wait for it. Just go. It's that small shift that leads to action and continuous movement. So, um, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think well,
One small thing, one
One thing.
phone call, one DM, one five. For me, it's just the five connections a day. And sometimes you guys, I can't get all 5 in because I'm responding to this or, I've got to get this 35R out tonight, after our webinar. But even in that, there's connections, there's conversations that are happening, but I still really want to get my five. So it might be going on to social media tonight before I end my evening and connecting with somebody somehow, right? Getting those five in. Didn't get them all at the beginning of the day. I promise you guys, I didn't.
What you erase, you must replace.
Yep, exactly.
You were going to say
Exactly.
something, Shannon?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Candace and I were talking about this earlier today too, where it's like you look good, you feel good, you end up attracting what exactly you're looking for. So, it starts with how you start your day in many cases. You may not be part of the 5 a.m. club, like some people are in the corporate America, and that's okay, but it's how you show up to people and how you show up to your friends and families and things like that too. So if you're working sphere of influence, friends, family, if you're showing up ragged and you're showing up saying, "Oh, the market's awful," well, are they going to be motivated and inspired to come to you when they're wanting to make a change?
Yep,
You want to be in many cases what you're wanting to attract. So, showing up for yourself, but then also, showing up for yourself so that you attract what you're looking for. So
100. Yeah,
my personal business happens a lot where I live and work. I'm a lot like you guys. So if I'm going to the grocery store, I'm running into people I know. It happens every single time. So it's like knowing the moment I step out the door, I need to be ready for myself. But then also I need to be okay with, answering those simple questions that come my way of what's new with you, how's the market, things like that. They're going to come your way.
Sometimes I'll even take a deep breath. And honestly, guys, if I don't feel like talking to people, I go later to the grocery store or order groceries to come to the house. But when I show up, I do, don't think I don't. But even when I go through a drive-through at Starbucks, I take a deep breath before I hit that window and I smile. And it's not because I'm that happy-go-lucky person. It's because I know if I smile, I'm going to make them smile, and somehow the interaction is going to be more positive.
it's like sometimes I force myself to give somebody a compliment, because that that's contagious and it wears off,
Mhm.
simple compliment, just to make somebody else smile. It
Mhm.
comes back to you, I promise it does.
And sometimes habits, when you create systems, and we talk about this in all our classes, and it's a simple habit like Candace, she has 5 people that she wants to connect with daily. By building that system into her day, it's just a simple one, just simple. It doesn't have to be complex. Even when she's not feeling like it, even when she's not in a great mood, I bet you still do those contacts, don't you, Candace?
I do. Absolutely.
Because it's built into
Absolutely.
your systems. And that's kind of what we want to remind you is that you don't have to have Tom Ferry systems. You don't have to go buy somebody else's systems to be successful. You have to find the systems that work for you in your business. When I first started real estate, I didn't like using CRM, so I used 3x5 cards. For years in real estate, I lived off the 3x card index system. Worked brilliantly, but I knew if I contacted somebody, I noted it, I made them, I filed it in the follow-up file, and I kept doing that. It was a system that I knew I could do and achieve, and because of that, it helped me through those bad days. When I was having a bad day, all I had to do was go look at who I had to follow up with, and I'm like, oh, I have to show up now.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but
I think
having the
some people think when I'm trying to build a process or a system for myself that it's synonymous with some sort of technology
Mm-mm.
system that will do, and this is like miracle pill that will solve the business for you and you'll instantly have business. And
No.
it doesn't work that way. This system we're talking about is a very much an internal system for yourself. What are you doing that is repeatable and routine, and something that you can have accountable to someone so that you can repeat it over and over and over again. And that repeat is where you're going to find the money. Um, I think where you're going with this, Virginia, is the whole chaos. Chaos
Yes.
lives in inconsistency land. And
Yes.
how do when you're in the murky waters, for lack of a metaphor, I'll give you a metaphor. If you're murky in the water there's just so much chaos that's there. How do you see clarity? How do you see to the bottom? And the way that you do that is through your consistent actions that you're doing every single day. I think some things that I do is, you have someone, and it could be a family member, a friend, it could be in the case that Candace described earlier, it could be another agent that you're listing with. It could be an assistant that you're maybe hiring. Having someone that's going to hold you accountable. It's like when you do your homework and the due date's coming. I think in many cases, many of us are procrastinators at heart. And so how can we, put the due date a little bit sooner to get some of these things done? And sometimes it's that accountability partner, that person that is, you have an appointment that you're going to, that you'll eventually get it done. It's like cleaning before the cleaners. You have that meeting with your friend. You want to make sure that you have all your homework done before you meet with your friend, right? So that's something I know that I've always found very helpful with.
And I would say
Yeah,
we're not saying this because we're perfect at it. We're saying it because we know what the struggle is, right? And we've all
big
had to
time.
dig ourselves out. And what we found, I know I found myself, Candace, and I'm sure Shannon has as well, is the only person who could do it for you is you.
Right. Well, and I think too, I like what Shannon honed in on is that systems, or well, actually, it was you, Virginia. Systems don't have to be technology. And I know some of us are just, we're just not there. But one system that I recall that I've had, and I've been doing it for 7 years of my 10 years in real estate. And I have this magazine that goes out. At one point, it was going out 6 times a year. Now it only goes out 4 times a year, but that is a system that is built in. If, for goodness sake, something is not happening, I have a bad year. Example, my son passed away. He was killed in a car accident. During that time, you guys, I had this system set up, and I'm so thankful I did because I was not in there. I was not in the game at all. But I had this magazine that was going out every 6 months or 6 times a year, every other month to the top people, my VIPs, and all the people that have purchased a home from me. So it can be something very simple that it's not a CRM that's, a lot of us kind of run away from. It can be just having HomeBot set up for all of your respective buyer clients. It can be so very simple. My initial system was a red, green, and black notebook with the red was the sellers, the green was the buyers, and the black was my VIPs. It can be just as simple as that. So remember, it doesn't always have to be technology and some outrageous, CRM to be a part of a system that you have that is consistent.
Yep. What's next up, deck, Shannon? Okay.
I love challenges.
So let's just open it up. We have a few people here, not a ton, but I would love to hear if you want to put in the chat or if you just want to unmute yourself. What is think about and be honest with yourself. And please do not tell me it's because you like to look at houses. If it is, it's okay. Just don't say it out loud. No, just teasing. But tell me why you got in. Let's reconnect with why you got into real estate. Anybody want to share?
Well,
I got into real estate. Oh, somebody is sharing.
Franz is sharing.
I was gonna say, I got into real estate in '85 because I was in aerospace, and aerospace was catching a serious cold, as in layoffs, and I didn't intend to catch pneumonia. So I figured all those LA aerospace people that are getting laid off will have to sell their houses. So why shouldn't I be the one selling them?
I love
That's
that.
how I got into it.
Mm. Look at
It
that.
worked.
That's what it's about right now. Get on the other side of it. I love that,
Right.
Franz. Right? We've got a ton of we've got inventory, right? How can we get on the
Plenty.
other side of the active inventory?
In fact, it's so amazing that we have our buyers have options now. And that's what I tell everybody is you know, if you've been on the fence, this is the time to do something because this is the time where you have power. Why'd you get into real estate, Candace?
I got into real estate because I wanted to make money, and I knew that this was basically there was no cap on the earning potential that I had. I was working in sales and customer service for 20 long years, feeling capped in a place where like I had to do something else to go to the next level, and I needed to do this or kiss somebody's tail to get here, and I was just over it all.
Yeah.
And I know that real estate's a keystone of the wealth, and I thought, you know what? If you're gonna hang around me long enough, if you don't own a house, you're gonna buy one. And that was kind of like my motto at the beginning. Everybody that I knew, if you weren't a homeowner, I wanted you to be one.
Shannon, what about you?
Oh, you're gonna pick on me too, huh?
I'm picking on
So
everybody.
for me, I would say it's more my family. So I don't know if you guys knew this. So my dad was an immigrant to the US, like many of our agents in many cases. And so the way for, he came with nothing. And so the way for our family to build wealth as a family was through real estate and building generational wealth. So in many cases, we all, each of my siblings took that, American value and applied it very swiftly. And that's kind of where we are now, where it's like you fell into it and I was able to build it. And just like Candace, how can we share this with other people and how transformational it can be when you own your own home? You can build that wealth rather than just paying someone else's mortgage. And just letting that just increase every single year. You can control your mortgage in many cases. So, um, yeah, I think it started with the same kind of foundation that Candace had too, where it's like let's build it for myself and let's build it for others. And kind of like for Franz, let's be on the right side of it so we can actually make some money and help some people while we're at it.
I love
I
that.
love it. Me too.
um, because it's really easy. And the reason this is up is we suggested that it reconnect with your reason why. Sometimes we forget. We forget in the minutia of the day to day, the no's, the not show ups at the open houses, the mailers we send out and don't get any response on, the door knocking where we get doors shut in our face, the leads that are cold, that have the wrong phone number, all of that minutia that we get stuck in is really, I feel like it's quicksand sometimes. And we get stuck in this quicksand and we forget why we started out doing what we're doing. You know, it is the only career where you're not capped at income. There's nobody going to say, hey, you've made X amount of dollars, you're done. This is as far as you're going to go. You choose how far you want to go. You also choose how far you don't go. And that's not a bad thing. Everybody has a different why, but reconnect with it. Really think about it. And then take one micro action a day, as simple as reaching out to 5 people. It could be calling people, your friends and family. It could be taking past clients out for coffee, or it could be, just stopping by with a little, I don't know, something little. One of our agents in Idaho is going to go around and drop off recipes every quarter and create a recipe book with her neighbors and her sphere. So it's just the little things. It doesn't have to be huge. Don't go out and buy leads. Don't go out and try to buy somebody else's golden ticket. You have it within yourself. And I think that that's what we want to share with you is it's easy to get stuck in the mud, but we're here to help support you and pull you out. Set up
So
one simple system you can stick to for 5 days. I think we can all do that.
I do too. I do too.
Yep.
So recently, I'll tell kind of my simple thing. I need accountability. I think I told you guys earlier, I need accountability. So I have an assistant that's helping me with my database, but who knows my database better than me? I'm no different than you guys in many cases where I've got this long list of people that I know and I could be of influence over. But what can I do? And so I can't outsource this. My assistant will never know who these people are. I know who they are. They can't.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've had her do is I said, I need at least 10 names every day. Give me 10 names. And I will tell you what their story is, how we can tag them, how we can organize them, where they need to be, hot, warm, cold. I can't do 700 in one day. There's no way. So you take it off in bite-sized pieces. So I think that's kind of an example. I'll share with mine personally, but take Virginia's challenge. I think that that's very applicable to all of us right now.
And it's so simple. I mean, I obviously I share a lot about my health journey, but when I started this, it took me an hour to walk a mile, an hour. And so every day I got up and I got up early and I walked an hour, made it a mile. And every day I added on. Before I knew it, I could walk in that hour, I could walk 2 miles. And then before I knew it, I could do 3 miles. And before you knew it, I ran a half marathon over a year ago. But it didn't start, I didn't get up one day and say, "Ooh, I'm going to do this," right? It was time over time. And there's times I wanted to quit. There's been times that I've wanted that in real estate. When I moved here in 2020 with nobody, no sphere, nothing, it would have been really easy to stop calling people because of this COVID, I had to call people, but I kept doing it. I rinsed and repeated it, rinsed and repeated it. It was not exciting. I stayed in the office sometimes till 8 o'clock at night to make my contacts. One day I challenged myself to make 100 contacts, was there till 8:30, but I did it. And by doing it, I created momentum. And by momentum, I created business. And by that, I'm here today. So it's those little steps, teeny little steps.
I love it. I love it. So how was this, guys? Did something click for you today? Anything? Anybody like to share? How was this? Was this helpful? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Definitely was helpful.
Good, 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 good.
I am curious.
Very motivating. Thank you. Sheeny?
Hey, this is very true. Like, um, Virginia told me once that I was looking for a miracle. So, I, I like Shannon said she had 700 contacts. That's a little crazy. I don't even know 700 people in my whole life. I, I like, how do you guys collect? I don't have a phone book, but how does that happen?
Oh,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
happen overnight.
over
Yeah.
time, you've got to be open to grow and to get to know people. I know for me, in the beginning, of real estate, and I still to this day remember stating to myself, it was social media for me, and it doesn't have to be social media, but I had about 400 friends. And I was in this whole no new friends. If they want to be more than that, they're just being nosy in my business. I had this different hat and mindset in my head that I didn't need to know more people than I did. And once I flipped that around and kind of changed my mindset of how I could use social media, not to find any creepy people or, to associate myself. I literally, I mean, I have now over, I don't know, almost 3,000 friends.
Oh my goodness.
And they're not everybody that I know 100%, but they're friends of people that I know, and people have connected to me outside of my 400 circle of friends that I wanted only to have in the initial beginning. So think about who could be a potential buyer, who could be a potential seller. Think about the people who do your hair, the people who do your pretty makeup, Sheeny,
Mhm.
the lady at the nail shop, the gardener, the guy who did my landscaping, he's like, "Hey, I want to buy a home sometime. I sell homes. I can help you with that." And even my insurance agent. These are all people that I literally didn't think would buy from me, but they have, over time. It's just change that mindset of who is who. It doesn't have to be that circle that you have right now. Let it grow, let it
Yeah.
expand.
It's you start small, Sheeny, and I think you grow it out there. I'm a big advocate of they call it the third place, where humans crave having their third place. You have home and work, but where's your third place? Where do you go to spend time with other people? And you know, they in the corporate world they call it networking, but like going to a networking event, a corporate event, is that necessarily going to bring you business? No. I'm talking about something where you naturally will find connection and meaningful conversations with people that you already like. You have something in common with. So a lot of our agents will find, you know, if they're fishermen, they'll go on a fishing trip with, you know, their buddies. Or I have one that she's in a chess group and she loves chess, so she goes to all these different chess things. One that's in the PTA, and that's where she finds her connections with there. You have to find your third place.
Yeah.
And that usually will transcend, you know, and grow from there. Candace had the benefit of having her third place for so long that now it's in essence exponentially growing from there. But the way that you start is usually with that third.
Just one. And Sheenie, I would
Yeah.
challenge you to add 2 new people to your data bank a week. If you did that, that's 104 people a year. Just 2. You can do 2 a week, right? You can find 2 people a week. Would 1 be easier? We can do 1.
Okay. Yeah, one might.
1. We're going to do 1 a week, Sheenie, and I'm going to hold you to this.
Ah, darn it. I shouldn't.
Yay.
And I won't forget.
Goals
Um,
set. Now she just has to crush it.
That's just 1 a week, Sheenie.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
got this.
well, the so my kid has this sleep issue, and so we are late a lot to the office. Will the office lady be too much of?
No, I'm very good friends with the lady who was worked in the office. Sandy is her name, in the office when my daughter was in middle school, the year she decided to miss 48 days of school because she didn't want to get up and go. I'm very good friends with her still.
Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah, because we see her 3 times a week, and
Yep. That's
yeah.
us too. We had focus on you. One a week. You got this.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else, guys?
Thanks, you guys. So yeah, it was a great call. Thank you, Virginia and Candace. We'll see you guys all this next week. Have a great week.